So for any of you who follow the Roots of War League, you will know that yesterday there was a massive upset in the games. Now, this is obviously a big deal in this game because the two highest favorite alliance after Echo, of course, EIS and WB, so they had 33,000 and almost 20,000, so they were number 2 and 3 in terms of being favored. Both lost their matches yesterday. Now, of course, being that it's EIS specifically, there's a lot of memes and stuff going about because Dark, the leader of EIS, is someone who talks a lot on the general COD servers in Discord and was saying that he would basically be able to beat everybody and stuff. But I don't want to talk just about that. Instead, I want to talk as well as to how it happened, what kind of strategies and stuff that happened, as well as some people are claiming there was some exploit, which there was not, but we will go over exactly the strategies and the reasons why this loss happened. So coming here, we will see that we are now in close to the finals. We are in the last rounds before the skin. So any team who gets to the top 4, which is the next games, will decide that will get a legendary skin for the game. Now this skin is going to give a attack buff, which is not great in itself because it's not that good, but the train speed percentage and the look, of course, being very cool. Those are big deals because there is no other way to get these kind of train buffs in the game additionally to what we already have. So when we're looking at WB and 30NA, of course, if you look at the power difference, it's really not that massive. We're talking about, you know, 7.7 billion power versus a 7 billion. Now, these powers are equivalent to the players in the team, but they don't really mean much because after a certain point, when you have a 400 million power account or 200 million power account, there isn't that much of a difference in a Roots match because they will have troops the entire match. Even if someone has double their power at that point, it doesn't really matter. So of course, there is a baseline that will make a difference. When all your players are over 100, 150 million, you will be much stronger than a team that has 90 million power because they will run out of troops. But it still doesn't really matter as much. But this is still something that shows you that it was not that far apart. And WBA, while they are a great team fighting in the field, they seem a lot less experienced in this because they didn't have a perfect record. They had lost another game before against FWY, which is a much weaker alliance than them in the game in terms of power. If we're thinking about right now in the game, WB is at 32 billion power alliance, I believe. Echo is like 31 billion. EIS is also at 32 billion power, which means that these are really, really big alliance. 30NA is in the 20 billion, nowhere near 30 billion. Still pretty high. They're a good alliance, but they're you know, mid 20s, so much weaker, like 5 to 10 billion power weaker than WB. So it's still an upset, but in the Roots League world, not as much, as 30NA were very solid and had never lost a game. But the real upset here is EIS versus MFD, being that the power difference here is over 3 billion. So this is where it makes a difference because MFD has a lot of players who are not big whales. They have whales for sure, but they're not as big, or many of their players don't have infinite amount of troops to send, not all max heroes. Now, there's still a very strong team with a lot of good players, but in the world of total power, EIS is a 32 billion power alliance. MFD is 10 billions weaker. They're like in the 22, 23 billion power. So it's an alliance that has a much lower average power. So this is something that is a huge upset in that sense, as well as, you know, there's been a lot of talk on the Discord, as I said, from Dark. So you see here, this is the kind of message that Dark sends on Discord often, talking about other ones. He did have a very high confidence in his team would win, and I really don't think they took MFD seriously. I've seen some messages where they thought it was basically a free win, and they would claim that they would get top 4 easy because the teams that they had MFD, this one, which is, I guess, I think Sleepy Eyes, I'm not exactly sure how to say their name, and then RAC, which are all strong teams, but much weaker. Like they're all 4 or 5 billion power versus this 7+ billion power alliance. EIS is much higher than all of them in power, and they're strong alliance with strong team, but nowhere near the level that EIS was expected to be. And there's just been a lot of talk from EIS and Dark in particular. I mean, everybody who plays this game knows Dark, and many people have been rubbed the wrong way because he spreads a lot of misinformation. A lot of stuff he says is accusatory or not really true and painted in a light that makes sense for EIS, but a lot of people don't really agree, and a lot of people dislike EIS, or at least Dark, for that, which is why anybody who's been on the Discord recently will see that 90% of the posts recently have been kind of trash talking against EIS and Dark because of all the stuff he's talked about. So people are kind of throwing it back in his face, and it's pretty easy to see because so many messages and so many screenshots have surfaced the meme channel is like hundreds of memes about it. So I mean, in that sense, it's pretty self-explanatory and it's not really surprising. Now, that being said, I really don't care about Dark and EIS that much. Obviously, I feel happy for MFD having won because it's a big upset. A lot of people thought EIS would be facing Echo in the last final. Now we'll see. The game is not done and there's a lot of strong teams here, so anything could happen in this game mode. But I want to talk about more of what happened, why this happened the way it did. So we'll take a look a bit at the game itself to have a good idea of the strategies that were used. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire hour, of course, but we'll speed up to some of the important moments. So when you are inside of Row or Roots of War, one of the biggest thing is like capturing at the beginning has a huge impact. So you'll see that there's quite a lot of strategies being used here where getting there first and getting into it makes a big difference. So you see here, we have people who just appear out of nowhere and then people staff onto them. Now, this is happening, and this is something that EIS is claiming is a bug or a hack or reporting people in MFD for, but it's just using the Ancient Tree Root artifact, which is an artifact that teleports your troop to a high-end pool of gathering for some sort. So in the real world, in the real game, you will use this artifact and you will teleport to a 7 node or a level 8 node because it's high-end node. So all of these are level 3 nodes, as opposed to here where we have level 1 nodes, and I think there's more nodes back here somewhere. I mean, there's on both sides. There's level 2 beside this one. You'll also see that there's level 3 nodes in the middle, and then there's level 2 nodes here in the Tree of Healing. So you can see that these 2 nodes have been taken and gathered, so people have teleported here. You can also blink over here, by the way, to do some captures. So there's a lot of strategies like that, but basically what happens is that once these nodes are taken, or if you stand in a specific spot down here, there's a very easy way to teleport to these nodes. And this is what happened. MFD got control of this one very quickly, got control of this one because it's close to theirs, and then got control of this one and this one up here. So you can see there's a lot of fighting happening. Now, the Hall of Water on both sides being in MFD's favor is a huge disadvantage for EIS in this situation because they control 5 out of the 8 capture points. So that means that they have an advantage, but one of these being that Hall of Water specifically here, or this Hall of Water on the other side, or Hall of Blessing, sorry, these would be ones that EIS should have at least one of them because it first closer to them. But there, for some reason, there has been a lot of games skirmish between EIS and WB, their BFFs, and in these skirmishes, there is confirmation from their players that they were using this Ancient Tree Root teleport in the skirmishes. So EIS knew about this. This is not new, and it's not even new for everybody because everybody knows about this. Echo knows about this. Everybody's using it now to different extent, but everybody knows about this. This is not news to EIS or anyone. EIS used it in scrim against their ally, but didn't use it in this game, as opposed to MFD, which we saw right now that they did use it very strongly. That was the reason they captured basically all of their stuff right away. So if we look back here, as we saw, they captured this already, and you see how far EIS still is from here. And then if we look up here, you can see a lot of people are coming, and then you can see these people. These are the people on the side doing this teleportation things. Oh yeah, there you go. He teleported right here, and then he's in the Hall of Water just a little bit before EIS. So this is a huge upset here. So on both sides, they teleport, and instantly everybody TPs on with their staff, which is of course something very expected. But this little bit here when this guy will just appear a second before EIS's marches. Like, this is the point that made a huge difference. Like, you'll see right here, he's going to be teleporting. Boom, there he is. Now he is using the max move speed marches, doing very well in terms of like Velen having his 20%. This is one of the reasons people are putting Velen everywhere. So they capture it and then they teleport. Their other big strategy, which is also not news to anyone. This is the Garwood Kuma Garrison. So I believe this was made popular by NTS a few weeks back. This is also not news. It's been used in many skirmish and many games. People knew about this for weeks. It's an amazing strategy, an amazing find, and I 100% believe it's going to get nerfed because it's very game breaking. This is the other thing that has happened. Now, this is not the reason EIS lost, because EIS also used that Garrison. I think we'll see it a bit later, but they also knew about it. It's not news. But the reason why it's such a big deal is because if you capture it first and you put this Garrison in it, which they did, it is almost impossible to remove this Garrison, because being a Garwood with a Kuma, with the healing, of course, if you have the right artifact and the right everything, it's an unkillable Garrison. There's so much healing. Now, in terms of report, we'll see a little bit later, it's a terrible Garrison. It will get demolished. This is the same as Rise of Kingdom. Garwood creates so much healing that you will get so much wounded troops from it. It's not good. It's a very bad garrison. But in Roots of War, it doesn't really matter because your troops don't die for real. And you don't care about the report. You just care about holding it for an hour, right? So this is exactly what's going to happen. We'll go through the game and you'll see that MFD is going to be holding these points for a very long time. There's going to be very long rallies and they're going to try very hard to get it. But MFD is going to hold on to these very important points. And these are points that give 150 per minute as well as 90 per minute player points. So the alliance point is what we care about. 150 there. As opposed to 80 for the trees, right? So the trees are good, 80s is good, but these guys, the halls, are much better. And you can see MFD is holding 3 of the halls. And what do you see at all 3? A rally against a Garwood, right? And is it happening here? It's happening here. So every single place is being rallied. Like all the halls are being rallied. All of them have the Garwood garrison. And the thing here is that it's pretty easy to reinforce. Of course, now EIS is focusing so much of their energy preventing refills, but it takes so long to kill this garrison, and one guy getting in is gonna make it so much longer. And then if someone gets close, you can TP people. Now you can also use this stealth artifact, or not artifact, but the stealth hero, Deya, who will also, you can see right here, can sneak in. You don't see her or don't see them until too late, as you can see right there, you know, these little stealthy guys, and then they get in and reinforce. And then you can also use blink. You get close by, you blink, there you are, you're in. Also, if you're using infantry, it's longer to kill. Anyways, you guys get the point. It's really hard to prevent refilling. It's really hard to kill. It takes so long. You need to swarm it and do so much to kill it. There are strategies, but EIS doesn't seem to believe that MFD was a serious enough team that would be a challenge, that they don't seem to be prepared for this encounter. They thought they would roll over and be super easy free win. And this is why there's so much memes about it, because this is not something everybody expected. MFD is a good team, but it's not nowhere near the level of spending and competition that happens in EIS. So it is something quite upsetting for them, I'm sure, as well as the whole community didn't expect it. And it's a little bit coming from being not prepared, but also not taking them seriously. They knew about the teleport instant tree route. It's not news. They tried it. They used it. Everybody's using it in skirmish. People have seen games doing it. It's not news to anyone. It's new in terms of a week or two, but it's not something that people knew nothing about. Like, it's not something that was groundbreaking, and it's the exact purpose of the artifact. It says it's going to teleport you to a resource node. There's level 3 resource node beside the halls. There's level 1 here. If you go out here anywhere, there's a few spots I think that you have to be in, but you are going to teleport to a resource node. Like, it's not an exploit, it's the intended use of the artifact. So I mean, I'm not too sure why EIS would say they're hacking or reported like anyone for it, because it's the exact use of the artifact. So it's like, if your taunt artifact is taunting, well, your teleport to resource artifact should teleport you to a resource. So I mean, surprise. In any case, the combination of getting there first and holding the Garwood is just making it impossible. EIS is not able to catch up, and you'll see we'll go a bit further in the game here. But it's the same thing. They're just gotten an advantage, and it's gotten really, really hard for them to get it back. Now, you do see that eventually they will manage to get it. They're going to block everything here. They're going to come and TP a Swarmer. So Alibaba's coming here. He's going to swarm. So people are still teleporting and sometimes getting in, which I guess is still happening. But you can see that MFD here on the other side has managed to capture the entire side here. So all 4 resources, or all 4 points, I should say. And it's going to be where they're focusing their presence, right? That's where they have all their troops to make sure EIS can't take them away. Now, for that, they're going to give up this side. You can see EIS even got the 2 pets. So, you know, this is a full focus here. EIS is going full on the right side, trying to get the Hollow Water that should have been theirs at the beginning. And they're behind by a large amount of points midway into the game, right? Like 5,000 points almost. So this is the only way to get this garrison down. I mean, there are better ways, and people, like, in some places will now be using different things against it, but it's just, they're not prepared. Look how many people, how many TPs, how much time they're wasting to get this Hollow Water, as opposed to MFD, who is now securing this side and doesn't have to use and waste too much troop. Now, this one might go down, but they still have the 2 hall, and the other side also has 2 hall, and then they have their outposts and stuff, and now they're ahead by quite a lot of points. So now if they just keep a status quo, they win. So MFD is ahead because of this huge strategy that they use, and it worked, and EIS wasn't prepared for it. Now, the other thing that's really important to look at is that EIS, they did get the 2 pets, but they also got 2 of the life stones. but MFD is still ahead because, as I said, they held the tree hall way longer, so they have a lot of points. Even with the 2 lifestone capture, they're ahead by 5,000. And they're basically just going to be delaying the lifestone and keep their side, which is much easier to do now. They've gotten ahead. They don't need to recapture this side, even though they still will try, and they're still going to rally and make sure that EIS is forced to send people here to reinforce. They're really just going to delay the middle, as you can see with the Hydra and stuff, and there are also going to be some pretty cool strategy here when people capture it. We have these troops here in the air. Obviously, the flying cav is a huge strategy in this map because of the lifestone, and there are some really cool play that happen from people in MFD side, especially the Sylph guy, which is the MVP of this batch, I believe, which use the hammer to stun the lifestone and stuff like that. Their strategy now has worked. They got ahead by using their clever strategy. Now EIS has to catch up. If they don't capture lifestones or they delay it long enough, there is no way for them to catch up because they're not going to capture these points. They've been trying all game. It's a lot easier for MFD to defend their one close side. This is their side. It's much easier to come here and reinforce than it is for EIS. And they just put infantry in their way, which is a strategy that everybody's using these days. It's really making it hard for people to come and reinforce. As long as they don't lose all the lifestone and don't lose any of their 4 points here, they're going to be ahead. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to go further in the game here. You can see they still have their 4 points. They can't get it. EIS even got another lifestone. And now they are much closer, right? Like now the difference is 1,000 something because, I mean, EIS is the stronger team. They are much stronger in the field, much more max heroes. And they've gotten 3 lifestone. But they're still not there. And there's only 10 minutes left. There's only 1 lifestone left that's going to be at the 3-minute mark. And you can even see the outpost, which is 30 points per minute. MFD has them all, right? So they are kind of outplaying EIS on the field because EIS is in catch-up mode and they were not prepared. There's going to be some rallies here. So now look how much EIS is going to be sending on this side. Of course, it's still going to be a hard garrison to get. But one thing that's really interesting is that EIS in this situation, they're not using the Garwood garrison. So they were not as prepared as something that was not news to anyone. So it really just shows that they didn't seem to have taken the team so seriously. Because here they are using this Garwood Kuma. Like this is not news to them. They know the Garwood Kuma. But for some reason, they don't have it for all the different defense. And MFD had it for all the important defense. So why are they not prepared? I mean, I'm not in EIS. I can't speak to it. But Kuma Lake 1 is still very good. But it's not as good as this Garwood thing in terms of holding for a long time. You can see here, though, like this is basically when MFD lost it, I believe, eventually. And, they're not trading well. The ratios are not good. But it's just a troop that doesn't die, right? Like they just don't die. So this is why it's happening. Like the ratio is terrible. Like it's a 1-to-3 trade, but the Garwood Kuma just works. And this is why they had it prepared and they were ready for it. And it's really just it. Like EIS was caught out to surprise, didn't anticipate MFD using strategies that EIS knew about, and they were not prepared for all the garrisons that they needed. Now they're still not losing this garrison, even though they're not using the Garwood in it. But MFD just used all the little things that they could. They used the right artifact to TP and get there quicker. They used the blinks and the TPs to reinforce, and they used the stealth stuff. They had the right marches ready. They know how to reinforce. Like they have been rallying this all game. EIS is right beside it. It's so much easier to get it. But this Garwood garrison is just not going down. And I mean, it just is not going to go down most likely because MFD was prepared and had practice how to reinforce and rally this garrison. So I mean, even here actually, for some reason the Garwood Kuma is trading well. So I mean, maybe there's some swarms and stuff in it, but in any case, like it's just not going down. They're prepared. They had everything planned. There's also these TPs you can use here, so you can go from here to here. So another way to reinforce this one. If you practice and you have a strategy locked in, and EIS didn't respect MFD's ability to do so, it seems like, because they got beat by this strategy. It didn't work out for them. They're going to keep rallying this. MFD has the right people that are coming reinforce over and over and know how to do so. As you can tell, they're using, they're going from the back, reinforcing everything. They're just not losing the point. And now the last lifestone is going to come available. And I mean, you can see MFD is prepared. Like EIS has nothing prepared. The lifestone's in 2 minutes. They're just now sending some cav. Look how many infantry are here in the middle. That's because EIS is, for some reason, fighting here with tons of cavs. I mean, why? What's to gain here? I mean, they're blocking some stuff, but like this is not going to work if they want the lifestone. There's also a lot of time that was wasted trying to recapture everything, I'm sure. For some reason, they also don't have all the outposts. So you can see right here that the outposts are being swarmed here. Like, look how many marches are being wasted to swarm an outpost. This was how 2 marches, not even 2 marches, yeah, 2 marches from MFD. This guy, there's like 8-10 marches that are being used here. There's 1 guy here in this outpost. There's a lot of rallies going on, but they're not working, not being reinforced. This one just died. No one reinforced it. Waste of time. It's completely wasted all these marches from these players. And then up here, MFD not rallying this, not rallying this, not rallying this. Because why? It's a waste of time. They were rallying this earlier, but not rallying anything else. Meanwhile, EIS has been rallying these forever and ever, not getting anywhere. Now it's the middle only. There's 10 seconds before the stone. There's a little bit less than 1,500 points in the difference between. And you can see that MFD has less troops here, but they're TPing people in like crazy. They were ready for this. They knew this is it. This is the middle. They're not wasting any troop anywhere else. They're going to be going for the fight in the middle. They're going to make sure that EIS doesn't get the stone, which at this point, it's so hard to get the stone in 2 minutes back to a base. And you can see that there's a lot of flying calves here ready for anything that happens too, right? So if they do get the stone by any chance, you're going to get a lot of flying calves fighting you. And, you know, I see a lot of flying mages here, but I don't see a lot of flying calves from EIS. So it's just, I mean, it's very interesting to see. Like, this game was really decided by not a lot of points. And the gathering points themselves are something that will make a difference. But, you know, looking at the different scores here, I mean, it doesn't mean everything a lot because a lot of people have different roles. But a lot of these players are 300 million, 200 millions mass spenders. And even the scores, like, there is no one in MFD even near the top of here. Like, number 7, number 8, number 9 at 130, and the top is 136 here. They just played the map better. They were just ready. Now they're at 572 versus 572 for a long time. They held the status quo, but look at the occupation point. 35,000 to 25,000. Like, they really got that lockdown early, and for some reason EIS wasn't prepared. Like, they were split both sides, rallying everything. They could have like spent everything in the first 10 minutes, get this whole water, send 50 marches, swarm it, block everything, just focus that one fully, then move on to the rest of the map because they got outplayed and got it captured right away. Could have been a strategy, but they were just not prepared. They had to react on the fly, and the War Leads and the Roots League from EIS didn't seem to be ready for it. And here is the result. You can see EIS won on the field, a lot more kills, a lot less wounded. Here, you know, the trade is higher. EIS won the open field, but 1,500 gathering point and 10,000 occupation point, and there's 0 lifestone points here. But they're not going to get the last lifestone either because the MFD is going to focus here. And now EIS has nothing they can do, and you can see they captured 3 lifestone and they still lost. So it's, you know, they got beat by a better strategy, a better war lead, and this is just what happens. So we will see here again the last little bit. So 17 to 22, so 1,500 difference here, which would be pretty much the exact amount in between them, right? I mean, it's a little bit more. Maybe they would have won by a few, but like, had EIS had a little bit more gathering, which, you know, there is even better gathering to be done here. This is a difference, as well as just not being prepared for the rush at the beginning. So very interesting strategies. I'm sure there's a few things that I missed as well. There was really good plays from both sides for sure. But it really comes down to, at the end of the day, where EIS didn't have the preparation for this strategy, where the Ancient Tree Route was used. So let's go look at it while we have a second here. Ancient Tree Route, here it is. So the higher level it is, shorter cooldown is. So you can use this every 30 seconds with high level, which makes it pretty incredibly good for something with tons of resource point. And it tries to teleport you to a random unoccupied. So this is what they did. MFD teleported and occupied a lot of resource nodes so that the only ones available were the ones they wanted to TP to capture the node. And it's a high level resource point. So the highest level resource points are the 2 extremities, which are the 2 important ones that got captured, right? So, I mean, it's just it. Like, they got outplayed by an artifact that works as intended. Now, is it meant to be like that in Root? I don't know, but this is how the artifact works, and it's not news. EIS knew about it, so why they were not prepared for it, I don't know. It just ended up not working for them. They got out-maneuvered in the open field, and they lost for it. So it just shows you that in this game, no matter what, of course, even though you could be having one of the biggest alliance, and this could be the same for Echo, right? Like, Echo has by far the highest odds of winning, but Echo could also fuck up. It doesn't take a lot, and you could lose it all. So, I mean, this is what I like about this game too. It's a very fun part of it, and I'm very excited to see for the future. I obviously hope that Echo does win, but I mean, it just shows that anything can happen in this game. And, you know, we'll have to see what happens next. I have good hope on Echo because it's not like they don't know the strategy. And they've read about it, they practice a lot of scenarios, and they do not disrespect their opponent by thinking they're just a joke. They will always show up and always try. So this is what, you know, I think the difference was here. I don't think they were ready. They thought they would roll over this team. I saw messages from EIS where they said, oh, it's a free skin. Like for them, free skin. They were going to go through this whole thing like a joke because all of these teams are much weaker than them. 4 billion, they're at 7, right? So, I mean, even Echo is lower than EIS in terms of power in the roots, right? So that's how strong their team is. So, you know, live and learn, I guess. Hopefully this was interesting. I just like to go over it. Let me know what you think, and I'll try and cover a bit more in the future as we see maybe more upsets and more crazy stuff happening.